Great spirit of the mountains, great spirit in the trees, you flow along the shoreline, you whisper in the breeze. You warm me with your sunshine and cleanse me with your rain. Your drops scatter around me just to rise and fall again. Oh, great spirit, around me and within, flowing in and out of me on every breath. Oh, great spirit, the beginning and the end, you are the source of all of life.
Hello, I'm here to give you guys a tour of my hometown of Palmer, Alaska. As you can see, I'm right here in front of the Palmer Museum of History and Art, and it's also the Visitors Center. And if you come with me, and right here we have an old horse-drawn plow, and there aren't really any horses around the town really anymore, so there's not much use for things like this, but it's still a cool piece of history. And then over here there's a statue of the famous sled dog known as Balto. Balto was the lead dog of the Gunnar Gusson's dog team. This team was the final team of the diphtheria serum run to Nome from the railroad station of Nenana in 1925. This sculpture was made possible by the efforts of the Butte, I think that's how you say that, elementary, second and third grade class of the 1997 to 98 school year. For more information, see the Alaska Legislative Proclamation inside the Tourist Center. There's a horse-drawn seed planter. Which appears to be filled with dirt now. The wagon wheel representing this valley was used by original settlers, and so this is like a really cool piece of history. And the placard above it reads, Sister Cities, October 28, 1980, Soroma, Cho, Japan, and Palmer, Alaska. Friendship across the sea, exchanges for education, understanding, goodwill, and everlasting peace. And over here we have a Farmall Cub tractor with buzzsaw for cutting firewood somewhere. And it also says, please don't climb on equipment. Not that I think I'd really want to, because this looks really uncomfortable. But it's, as usual, a cool piece of Palmer history. And so I think that pretty much covers the Palmer Museum. And so let's continue on. And now I'm standing in front of engine number 5, which was completed in July 1910. Apparently it used to carry like coal and stuff. However, the placard over here is so badly written that I'm not even going to attempt to tell you the story, and I'll see if I can find some links to provide you with in the description down below. And let's come over here to the front. There's the number, as you can see, number 5. As you can climb on the exhibit, and it's been sometime recently, but there are still some working lepers. I cannot tell you what they do, but it's a cool thing, and it provided us with lots of amusement over the years. And so, another interesting thing that I found out recently is that apparently Palmer recently celebrated its 80th anniversary, and considering that the state of Alaska is only somewhere, I forget the exact date, it's somewhere in its 50s, so I personally had no idea that the city of Palmer was so gosh darn old. But over here, if you follow me, here are some really cool chalk drawings that were done, and some of them mention the fact that Palmer is 80 years old. So that's a really big milestone for the city. And then over here, there's Fireside Books, Palmer's own little bookstore, not nearly as extensive as places like Barnes and Noble, certainly, but they have some good selections. And then if you look over here through the trees and stuff, that's the old Palmer train depot. And as of now, the trains, the track itself is hasn't been updated, and it would cost upwards of millions of dollars to repair, and obviously it's not a priority, it seems, for the people of Palmer. And but anyway, that's the old train depot, which is used now for different community events and stuff. And then we have Vagabond Blues, which is one of my favorite coffee shops. And the cool thing about this place is that it also, in addition to serving great coffee and really good pastries, they also have a stage. And so I can remember being there and seeing such famous people as the actually the most famous person that I've ever seen there was a band called the Glacial Erratics, which are a really famous Alaskan band. And in more recent years, back in, I think it was 2009, our acupuncturists who dabble in things like music and stuff, they gave a little performance there in which they did mostly cover songs, but they did a couple of originals, including an original song that I'd written, and I'll of course provide a link to that video in the description down below. And so yeah, it's just a really great spot to hang out if any of you ever come up to Alaska. And then over here we have the Valley Hotel and Coffee Shop. Now, the exact date of when this building was constructed, I'm not certain of. If any of you have any interest in that, hopefully you'll be able to find it on through a Google search. But I can remember that I've never stayed at this hotel. However, I have eaten in the diner at the hotel, and it was pretty good. Over here, we have very loud people, and fairly new to the city of Palmer as far as things go. We have the downtown Palmer Plaza, which is basically Palmer's basically Palmer's strip mall, and it also houses the fine dining establishment of Turkey Red, and then behind me right here is the Palmer Public Library, and it's not much to look at on the outside, but they do have a good selection on the inside. It's been a while since I personally have been in there, but I remember they have a good selection, sorry. And you have a nice little vegetable garden here. This parking lot used to be the space where Carr's Quality Center grocery store used to be, and that was basically where my family and I would get most of our groceries from. There's actually a Fred Meyer across the street that way now, which was built, I'd say, probably about, give or take, 7 years ago, maybe. And the new Carr's Quality Center is now actually just across the road that way. But I can remember it was a really great store. It had good people, had a nice kind of sort of a family-owned environment, I remember. But the city has definitely grown a lot since then, but it was nice. And behind me is the First National Bank, and there's actually another bank a little ways up the road. I'm not gonna take you over to it, but it's the Matanuska Valley Bank, and sorry, loud truck. And behind the loud truck is the Palmer Fire Department, and luckily we don't have too many emergencies, and so I haven't seen too many fire trucks coming out of it, which is a good thing. And then if you look around here, you'll see there's a Subway. Subway's my personal favorite fast food restaurant. Actually, the only fast food restaurant that I personally will eat at. And then a little ways beyond it, you see the ice cream cone shaped sign. That's the Purple Moose coffee kiosk. Actually, it's called the Purple Moose Espresso. And then if you walk down this way a little bit, this is a building that I actually don't know if this building was the first hotel in the valley, but it's certainly old enough and dilapidated enough to qualify as the first hotel in the valley. You can go inside this building, but we're not gonna go inside. We're not gonna tour the building right there. But it is a cool little place. And behind me here, there are some financial buildings. Over that way is the State Farm building, and actually behind my favorite person, thank you very much, is the Fred Meyer parking lot, which is unfortunately filled with Pomeranians. I have no idea if that was what citizens of the town call themselves. I just made that up. And then over here is that building with the blue roof is the Palmer Post Office, and that really hasn't changed. As I can remember, it hasn't really changed much since I was a kid. And then if you look past if you can see the building past the State Farm, that is a horribly named preschool center or something called the Mousetrap Play School. Terrible, I know. Leave twisted comments down below. We make twisted comments about it all the time. Who's the brilliant mind who thought of that? And then further on down the street is past the post office. There's apartment buildings, and then there's a playground, and a little over that way. Oh, there's a Fossilman and Associates, and then there's a church or something somewhere around here, and got to show you guys. If you look in through there, you can see there's the back of the Valley Hotel coffee shop they showed you guys earlier, and then a little ways beyond it, it's a water tower, and so I think that is pretty much all of, at least what I've seen of my hometown, and hopefully this will give anyone who's interested in the town of Palmer, Alaska, a slightly more comprehensive view of the town. And so I thank you guys for coming on this journey with me, and leave your comments down below and subscribe and like, and I will see you guys later. Cut.
Lord, I love thy valleys, ripe with golden corn, and the fragrant meadows in the early morn. Lord, I love thy woodland, the sheltered cool one seeks, and the rushing waters of your mountain creeks. Here will roam my children, growing wise each day, just skipping beneath the pine trees, just running through the hay. Shoes from off my feet, but these gentle valleys, I pray you'll always keep.